Hey guys, got an interesting episode for you today. This is actually a portion that was cut out of episode 4. It still has me, myself, which is Brian. Got my girlfriend Jamie, got Brandon, and his girlfriend Carrie. A very interesting episode. Still wanted to release this, so it's just going to be available here as exclusive content on YouTube. But we do release everything else on all streaming platforms like Spotify, Apple Music, or what is it called? Apple Podcast, I guess. Hope you guys enjoy this episode, and hopefully we will see you as a new subscriber. Don't forget to follow on your favorite streaming platform and subscribe here. Like, so we know that we're doing something right, I guess. Can you think of anything from your childhood that might be affecting you, like, now in the present, Jamie?
You're looking at me. I knew you were talking to me. Probably my parents' divorce and, like, all that.
Why? Like, how do you think that affects you?
Well, I definitely had to grow up a lot faster than I needed to because of the entire situation. I had to take care of Caleb, and then...
Caleb's her brother, if you...
And then when my mom started dating again, she started bringing home a bunch of guys from the internet, so I had to kind of, like, sleep with my bedroom locked and make sure Caleb was safe and everything like that. So I didn't really get to have a childhood after, like, 11.
So, do you think that makes you pursue your childhood now? Is that how you're saying that it's affecting you, or?
I mean, I guess, because you said before that, like, when I was around my parents or my last grandparent that I kind of acted childish and not, like, how old I am.
But you didn't see that.
No. I don't think that I act different around them, but that's what you said.
Well, I think you're a very serious person in general, so even a small shift would be noticeable.
I mean, I guess, but I don't see it.
Well, I mean, you're not supposed to see it, I guess. It's kind of how it's supposed to be, right? Well, I think you kind of got lucky because Brian's, like, mature but not mature. And, like, you know, he doesn't force you to be that type of mature person.
I think that I'm more mature than he is.
Oh, definitely, yes. And that's where you get lucky, that you don't have to be like that.
Yeah.
That's kind of your choice and your decision, where you're not being forced to act a certain way, so... Maybe you need to grow up, little boy.
What about you, Carrie? You think of anything?
No comment.
That's fine. I'm going to talk about it. I actually wrote down a bunch of stuff that I thought affected me. You going to ask me, Brandon?
I can, yeah.
No.
Ask you what?
The question I'd ask everybody else?
You're getting ready to answer it. I don't need to ask you the question.
So, Brian, what what from your childhood has affected you? Oh, I'm glad you asked.
I'm not.
So, I'm really interested in IT. I don't think I've ever said anything about this before, but I've always been interested in, you know, technology and like working on stuff, like tinkering with stuff. Mostly like computers and stuff. And I was really trying to think, because I thought this would be interesting, to see where that actually stemmed from. And when I think back, you just keep in mind that this is back in, like, elementary school and, you know, like a really long time ago. But I can remember a couple instances where I was just amazed at technology. Like, when I was little, I was playing Wii at a friend's house quite a few times. I think it was the same friend's house, but...
Brian, you need to sit up.
They had a...
He can't read. He can't pull the iPad closer. He has to get closer to it.
Yeah. But... they had, like, one of those hacked Wiis that you can take DVD-R discs, download the game onto them, and then just put them in the Wii.
Yeah.
And I was always amazed by that.
I think you need to explain what that is, because I don't think, at least Carrie has no idea what you're talking about.
About what?
Being able to download games onto a disc.
Yeah, same way you put movies on it. Like,
I understand.
Okay.
why did you think that she didn't understand?
Because she knows nothing about video games.
Brian, you do the same shit. I don't want to hear you.
I always thought that was really cool. I think I already said that, but my mom also had a coworker back when MP3 players were really big, so that really dates myself, but
Yes, yeah, because you're like 20, 21. You're really dating yourself, aren't you?
but I would be able to give her my MP3 player and a list of songs, and she'd put the songs on there. I never had like any idea of how she did that, but
Your mind just...
this is when I was in like elementary school.
And you couldn't figure out how to work an MP3 player.
I didn't have a computer. Well, I did have a computer, but it was a real shit computer.
Then why did you have an MP3 player?
Her coworker put songs on there.
So they bought the MP3 player for you with the plan for her coworker to put songs on it for you.
I think that I got an MP3 player because I asked for one for my birthday or something.
And they didn't know anything about them, so they just bought you one. Okay.
Anyway, there's that. But I also remember my sister doing the same thing that she did with that I was talking about with the hacked Wii.
Uh-huh.
She did that with like DVDs and stuff, and pirated DVDs. Obviously, you're not supposed to pirate stuff, but
Hey, boy, I'm still doing it.
Incriminate yourself some more.
Hey, I don't care. I
But-
get my IP address. I don't
It's a
give a damn.
victimless crime.
You're damn right it is.
I think that really got me into IT and
Downloading illegal porno.
Yeah, ultimately, I think that just that experience, or those experiences, got me a job at the hospital because it affected me into being interested in IT.
So it wasn't so much downloading the illegal porn; it was fixing your computer after you downloaded the illegal porn. It's malware.
Yeah.
Does he have a story for you?
What is it?
The RC car with the camera on it?
Oh yeah. We'll wait till we finish this topic, and if
I think it's technology related.
I think you should go ahead and say it so we can hear
it
it.
has something to do with one of those Black Ops Prestige packages where you got an RCXD
Uh-huh. What about
and
it?
had a camera on it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I want to
we'll
hear
talk-
this
we'll talk-
now.
We'll talk about that later. Another thing was, and I think that you might have an interesting perspective on this, but
Touch me.
my parents were never really big drinkers or anything, and they had alcohol in the house, but most of the time it was like wine or some moonshine or something that was a gift, and I'm not into like drinking, and I was never into the partying scene or any of that stuff.
Well, it's because you were lame and nobody invited you.
Yeah, I think
Don't
I got
act like
invited.
you were.
I just went. I rarely asked.
You didn't even party.
Well, at one point, I invited myself to a party because they were buying alcohol at Walmart, and I saw them.
And he's like,
Well, no, like with my there wasn't alcohol in the house growing up. It was more so like once a year, like they would have like my sister's graduation party or something like that, and then I would see a bunch of people get drunk at once. Most of my experience of seeing alcohol was when I went to parties in high school. So I had and watching rap videos with big booty women and champagne. But most of my experiences came from high school and like going to these parties and seeing people. So I can't say I had a negative, but I also didn't have a positive experience with it. Because I saw things at parties that disappointed me and mankind. I also saw things that, if you did this without the alcohol, it would just be people getting together and enjoying each other's company. And I think especially with like the people I went partying with, it was a lot of the time more so about us spending time together than it was about drinking. There was plenty of times where there was no alcohol there. So, that's why when people say partying, most of the time you mean your guys are going to all go get drunk and maybe smoke wacky backy or such and maybe snort coke, do crack, whatever people do at parties anymore. I don't know. You should be having parties right now.
I was more looking towards at your house. There was like you growing up. You grew up around people drinking and
No.
that type of stuff.
No.
Yeah, you guys said that you're like uncle or something like
They
that.
didn't live with me.
But you grew up around it. You know what? Fuck you, Jamie. You did.
Yeah, I did.
So how do you think that affected you?
I don't like the thought of like people getting completely plastered, and I don't like alcohol because of what I've seen my family go through with alcohol. So I don't party, and I don't want to take part of any of that.
And I think that's interesting because I wasn't around it. She was around it, but we both have the same.
Yeah. So do you think that was a positive or a negative thing?
I think it was a positive because
In the long run.
Yeah, because I'm in college now, and there's many parties where people are getting alcohol poisoning and acting like fools, and I'm
Date raped.
Yeah, that's a big problem too, but I'm staying focused because I'm not interested in those kind of things.
Well, you think also being that you're already with somebody and you've been with somebody, you don't have any interest in the vices of college?
Yeah, well, I don't think that being in a relationship really has anything to do with it because you're your own person.
So, Brian has no interest in anything.
Well, I mean, he does, but...
Do you think that like, if you're dating a woman, she shouldn't go clubbing and stuff? Like, because she's in a committed
I think it
relationship?
depends on how much she's doing it. Like, once in a great
and
while...
how much trust you have in a person.
Well, yeah. Well, but like once in a great while, I don't think it's going to hurt anything. But if they're going out every weekend, that there's a problem in your relationship. It seems like you're not interesting enough for her to want to stay home and spend time with you. So, all them parties Jamie's been going to on the weekend, you need to really look at your relationship. Well, you can't now. They're all shut down.
No, at the beginning of the fall semester, I got invited to a bunch of band parties, which are just,
Band parties?
Yeah, I was in the marching band.
I wonder, what is a band party? Do you guys like all get drunk and then put weird shit in the tuba?
Well, I never went.
So, well, like, I'm sure you've heard stories. Like, what happens at a band party?
They just hang out and act like morons, and band kids are kind of a different breed, so it's just a bunch
I know
of...
what you mean.
Yeah.
I was in music class with them, and
Yeah.
I shouldn't have been in music class. You signed up for it, and then they didn't let you in because your GPA wasn't high enough. You'd have like a 3.5. Brian had like a 2.4.
That kind of leads into another thing. You said that you wanted me to talk about like my relationship with AJ, but this kind of goes hand in hand with it because everybody liked him. Like, for some reason...
You need to explain who AJ is because most people don't know what you're talking about.
Okay.
These people don't know us.
He's my cousin that I grew...
They wouldn't.
He's my cousin that I grew up with. He's like a year older than me or 2 years older than me, something like that. So, what I was trying to say was... everybody liked him for some reason, and he had like a bunch of friends, and I was jealous of that, and I never understood it. And this was in like middle school or whatever. I was noticing it because everybody like looked up to him for some reason, and I never completely understood that. But I took it as like I evaluated the situation like why do people do that?
Yeah.
The only reason that I came up with was, well, everybody thinks he's funny, like he's stupid or silly or whatever. And I've been asked if the dirt bike accident that he was in messed him up, stuff like that.
I don't think I've ever heard a grown man use the word silly. Have you?
I didn't want to say the R word, but I guess I already
there's
said
plenty of
bull-dyke.
other words. There's plenty of other words you could have used.
I wasn't planning on saying bull, so
I didn't mean that. I meant for silly.
okay. So I guess I can say like whatever.
I didn't mean that. I didn't mean for you to say that, Brian. I just meant...
Say slow.
No, don't say that either.
Why?
That's not what he means by silly. Silly and slow are not the same.
That's kind of what I was getting at, because I felt like that was the reason why people liked him so much, because they thought he was funny and stuff. And I took and kind of made that part of my personality as well.
Well, our science
and then
teacher called you a dumbass.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm talking about. Like, I started just acting stupid and stuff, and people actually started thinking that was funny, and it kind of molded around my personality.
But I wouldn't say you were ever popular either.
I would say I was pretty popular.
I'd say a lot of people knew you.
You just hurt Brian's ego.
Well, no, because I wouldn't say I was popular, but I'd say everybody knew who I was, right? Would you agree with that? Do you think like everybody knew who I was? Whether they liked me or not, they
Who are
knew.
you again?
Like, I wasn't popular, but I was friends with enough people from every different group.
I was associated with popular people.
No, they just knew who you were.
Okay, well,
What?
if you take that into account, you could say that everybody in high school knew who you were because of me going around and saying, "Hey."
Okay.
No, because of me going around saying, "Hey, have you heard that new B-32 song?"
No, I think
I feel like that's where a lot of that came from. It's like, hey, did you know B-32 released a new song? And like, I would just go up to people and,
and that may have had something to do with part of it, because people would always yell my name in the hallway and I wouldn't know who they were. So
That was probably my doing as well.
well, yes, most likely. But at the same time, like, I think when you look at it, like, we were the one type of people that we weren't mean to anybody until it was warranted. So I think that was part of it, in that we were nice to everybody, so therefore everybody knew us. Like, you know, I was friends with like the Van Geeks, and then I was also friends with like, you know, the ROTC kids, because that's where we had our, what do they call it? Homeroom? Is that what they called it? Links. That's so stupid.
don't you just miss that kid that we used to call Wrong Hole?
I think about him sometimes. I really do. Yeah, you almost got him in trouble with the principal for screaming wrong hole at him. Yeah, I remember that. But yeah, like that's the type of thing. Like, we could be friends with that kid and then the quarterback of the football team. Not a lot of people could do that. So
You
I
were
think
just in the in-between group.
yeah, I don't think we had a group. Was the weird thing.
I would
I
agree
don't
with
think
that.
we had one, which is why we were able, because you Cisco and the nerdy kids in there, and then the popular kids, and I think that's why it's so hard for us to talk about what makes somebody popular, because we don't know, because we were without trying, I guess, is kind of a point.
I could get behind that, but some of the people that you were friends with, I wasn't friends with, and some of the people you were friends with, I wasn't. Wait, did I say that twice?
Said that twice. You just said that twice.
Okay, well, I think you know what I meant. Some of the people that I was friends with, you weren't.
Yeah.
Some of the friends you were friends with, I wasn't.
Yeah, that's completely fair to say. Yeah.
Because, like, the Cisco kids.
Yeah. Well, I think you were friends with a lot of kids that weren't in our grade because of the classes that you took.
And not only that, I still talk to AJ, obviously, and I
think
hung
that's
out with
part
him
of
a
why
little
you
bit.
were friends with a lot of kids too.
And you skipped and went to the gym and played basketball with whatever class was in there at the time.
Yeah, you didn't really care who was in there. What about you, Carrie? What type of friend group did you have in high school?
You know.
I know, they don't.
Like I said, I was associated with popular people, but I'd consider myself in between. I wasn't necessarily popular, but I wasn't unknown.
I guess knowing your friends group, yeah, I guess that was a good parallel for our friends group. And Jamie, you were a band geek, so.
Yeah, I was kind of on the lower rung, but I wasn't as bad as the ROTC kids.
I don't know. I think, hey, these
I-
lots of
the
kids are
band-
saving the country right now.
Are they?
Yeah, I don't know. I guess so, probably. They damn sure acted like they were going to be.
Yeah.
Because, like, I was friends with everybody, too. Like, I didn't really...
Yeah. Well, I think the advantage that me and Brian had is that I think we both took classes. Well, not so much you, but I took so many different classes that there were so many different people. Because I would take journalism and food service and what else did I take? That music class that Brian got kicked out of.
Was it music appreciation?
I think
No,
music
it was the
theory.
other music theory. Yeah, Brian
Those
signed
are
up.
both dual credit classes.
Are they?
Yeah, that's
No, I
why.
don't-
Because he could have gotten into music theory if, there wasn't a GPA requirement. If
Yeah.
there was a GPA requirement because it was dual credit.
Oh, well, I passed it. I didn't know that. I took psychology too, and that was dual credit. I passed it with like a D+.
D's get degrees.
Damn right they do. Well, actually, it counted as a C because it was a college class.
There you go.
But apparently an F doesn't count as a D, which I wasn't happy to hear. But So I don't know. Let's kind of move on. Do you have another topic to talk about? I think we kind of exhausted the childhood trauma.
Yeah, I do too. I don't really have any other topics, but I do think that that's really interesting to think about because I've never thought about that before, like what our friend group would have actually been. And you can't really even say our friend group because there's different people in it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I see what you're saying, but we had the same friend group because, you know, the people that we spent the most time with were the same people. Does that make sense?
I don't know if you can say that necessarily because I had people that would just show up to my house.
And I went out with, like, to party with kids that you didn't talk to. So...
Because, like, obviously, I hung out with Trevor, and then Trevor had a friend,
maybe
and then I would bring a friend.
Because you're making this a lot harder on yourself.
I know, I'm going to have to bleed out a lot of stuff. I think I'm going to leave in every time that I've said bull. Yeah.
Oh, 6 times. Well, yeah, I see what you're saying, but, like, where would we have been if we didn't have that core friend group? What friends would we have fell in with? Is it something interesting to think about? Because I think you would have fell in with, like, the potheads, and
I would have probably been around, like, Tim and
you would have been hanging out with the potheads.
Brandon, where do you think that you would be if you hadn't met Carrie?
What do you mean?
Like, what kind of groups would you have fell in, and, like, how do you think it would have changed?
We didn't get together till my senior year, so...
Yeah, but how do you think things would have changed if you haven't met her?
Like, for me now?
Yeah.
Or in high school?
Both.
I mean, high school, it wouldn't change anything, because I was friends with the same people I was friends with. That didn't affect anything. I mean, now... And it's really hard to say because maybe I went to college, maybe I don't go to college, maybe I don't get promoted at work, maybe I don't have my same job, maybe I go to a different job, maybe I don't live in West Virginia. There's so many different...
Let me try to word it differently. What kind of, like, bad characteristics did you have before that she kind of made you a better person?
Okay, that's a good thing to think about.
What's funny?
Not a damn thing. That she helped me get better at. I mean, I think any relationship could have done it. Not just her. No, I mean, just... I mean, because we both had a lot to work through when we first got together. You can admit that. We both had a lot to work through to get to where we are now, just in our relationship and who we are as people. We both could have done that with somebody else. It's completely plausible that could have happened.
So I could have stopped doing all the stuff I was doing if I got with a crackhead.
No, I don't.
Okay.
I mean, with the right person, with another person, you could have done it also. Now, obviously, do I think...
So you're saying you're not the right person for me?
No. Obviously, you know, we're together for a reason. We're still together for a reason. We got together for a reason. Jamie asked me where would I be if I didn't get with you. She didn't ask where you would be without me. She asked where I would be without
Well, I
you.
was getting to that. You keep stalling.
I like I said, I think I'd probably still be single, just because, you know.
You still haven't said
Yeah,
what.
you went back to the other question.
Yeah.
What, like, bad characteristics did how did she help you become a better person?
If there's none,
I
that's
mean,
fine.
I'm easier. I feel like...
What have you learned through your relationship with her?
I mean, you're putting me on the spot here, so it's kind of hard to think.
I'm sorry,
Just bam,
Carrie.
bam, bam, bam. Carrie, you go.
I mean, I was in a lot of stuff that I shouldn't have been in. If I wouldn't have gotten with you, I have no idea where I'd be. I could be on the street selling my body, doing drugs. I could be a crackhead. I don't know. Like, there's a bunch of things that you helped me get through. You helped me get through mental illness. You helped me get through...
Shaking the table.
I'm angry.
It sounds to me like he's giving you mental illness.
I mean, I stopped doing a lot of stuff that I was doing because I got with you. Because you helped me get through it.
Well, and I think just emotionally you've matured as a person. And
Because of all the stuff I went through.
Well, yes, but I think just our relationship has helped you grow up to the point that what is important to you is different. Where you didn't want to work when we got together. You didn't want a job.
Oh, because I was working from the time I was 15.
I know, but like you didn't see the point in having a job other than money.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
And my money
Well, what
went
else
towards
is
the wrong
point of
thing.
having
Yeah.
a job?
because the values of working, like When we first got together, like, she didn't want to work at all. Like, she didn't want a job. She didn't want anything to do
I
with
was
it.
16.
She didn't want any kind of responsibility. I did. I wanted the money. I wanted the job. I wanted the responsibility. I wanted the work ethic. Like, I had that, and she didn't.
So you wanted this goes into a completely different topic, so we're not going to...
Just say it, and
bring
we
up.
won't elaborate on it.
Okay, so you wanted something to make you feel appreciated or fulfilled.
Well, no,
or-
because if I wanted to feel appreciated, I wouldn't have been doing the
Did
job
you just
I was.
want like an equal partnership in a relationship, like
Yeah,
somebody
yeah.
that you could support each other?
Yeah, because I felt like when we first got together, I was working, I was making more money. Which, I mean, I still am because I get paid more, but she's working just as many hours as I am. Well, not right now, but, you know, that was a big point of contention, and that she didn't want to work. I wanted to work. I had to work.
Again, I was 16.
Well, no, I mean, even when we got our apartment, you didn't work for a while.
No, I worked until
We got the
after
apartment.
we got the apartment.
Yes, I know. But then you didn't want to work.
I was unemployed for like a month and a half. Where do you get that I didn't want to work?
Okay, but like that was a big point of contention because I was working and you weren't. Can you agree to that?
I guess.
Then you went to work. You only got 15 hours a week.
Okay.
Do you think that caused problems with us because I was working 40 hours a week and you were working 15?
I suppose.
That's what I'm trying to get at.
So why are you bringing up all the bad when it was supposed to be
Because Jamie
all
asked
the...
me. Because I think it's easier to sit here and talk about, you know, that. It's easier to know that than to know what have you made me better at. Obviously, you have.
Okay, but what?
I think it would be easier for you to answer that question than for me.
Yeah, but just think about it.
So
Well, I
I've
mean,
never
he's not
given
gonna-
you anything.
He's
You
not going to
have.
be able to...
I can't just sit here and say, yeah, this, you did this, I changed this.
Yeah, but overall, do you feel like a better person
Yeah.
because of your relationship?
Yeah,
Is there
1,000%.
Is there anything that was bad that you don't have around anymore because you have her?
I mean, I wasn't smoking crack, Jamie.
No, I know. But like with Brian and mine, our relationship, when we got together, he was hanging out with a bad group and he
Yeah,
was
he was
smoking
Hanging
pot.
with crackheads,
Yeah, he
honestly.
was hanging out with crackheads and stuff, and I,
Pulled him out of that.
yeah.
Which was the right thing to do. Why did you hang out with crackheads? Like,
Trauma.
The question isn't...
I
towards me.
know why you hung out. I know why you hung out with crackheads, because they lived right across the street and you didn't have to go anywhere else to hang out with them. That's what it was.
You're
Yeah,
still
but
off
that's an
subject.
example of like,
Yeah, I mean, I didn't really have that. I think, like I said, it's
You
hard.
had emotional
No.
trauma.
Yeah, obviously the emotional stuff, but as far as like,
So
the
you're gonna tell me I didn't help you get through emotional trauma?
I didn't say that. Yes, you have, but I can't sit here and say think about what it was. Yes, obviously, but I think it's going to be hard to answer this question because comparing you and him, Brian didn't make good decisions.
yeah.
I think I made better decisions than Brian did as far as that stuff went.
Yeah, but there's other things in
Yeah, definitely. But I mean, I can't sit here and say, like I said, it would be easier for me to answer about her and her to answer about me, just because we see what each other don't have anymore compared to what we don't have.
You switched that. It's easier for me to answer.
Okay, well, Carrie, how do you think that? What do you think that you changed about him?
If you can't answer this, there's going to be a problem because you just sat here and yelled at me for not being able to answer it.
It was mostly emotional trauma. And I feel like I helped you get through that, and you actually opened yourself up to someone and told me things that I'm sure you've never told anybody else before.
Yeah, definitely.
And you had to get through that, but you couldn't get through that unless you opened up to someone.
Okay, but I think what Jamie means more is like the physical aspect.
No, I'm talking about everything.
Well, yeah, there's obviously a bunch of emotional stuff that we helped each other through. We both had that.
I'm too angry to answer
I
right
feel
now.
so bad
Well,
that I asked a question.
no, it's the type of question that should be asked. It was a good
Because
question.
I can answer a bunch of stuff, but you can't name
think-
one thing.
I think
Okay.
it's just easier for us to see it.
I understand why Brandon couldn't answer this because I wouldn't be able to answer it, obviously. But
So the crackheads out of your life.
example.
no, okay, so obviously, if so Carrie and Brandon are together, Brandon's not going to be able to tell how Carrie made him better.
Yeah.
I don't know how to explain it in a way that makes it more simple.
Because
but
you don't
you're
think
not
about
gonna,
it.
you're not going to see it. Yeah, you're not going to see because you're not going
I
to know
mean,
what
I
that
can
bad
see mine
characteristic
clearly.
was.
Well,
Okay,
you're-
but you brought that up before. The fact that you stopped hanging out with crackheads. Because of me.
She's right. Don't try to shut up. You were hanging out with crackheads.
No, but I can see, like, where you're coming from because obviously he doesn't help with emotional issues in our relationship. So, I mean, I don't really know what he contributed to make me a better person.
Yeah, I mean, I see what you're saying because, like, all the emotional baggage you had from the time you got with Brian, you probably still have 90% of it. Just because Brian can't help you get rid of it. I'm sure you tried.
Granted, I have read psychology books and stuff to try.
Yes.
That's the kind of shit.
No,
Thinks he's a
because
psychologist.
and I know I talk about a lot of that stuff to my therapist. Yeah, see, but anyway, I've read books to try and help you
But that's
work
not-
through stuff.
That's not
I
what
have
she
I have
needs.
trouble sympathizing, and I'm pretty sure that we can just mock it
Well,
up to that.
we have established that. But that's not what Jamie needs. You reading a psychology book ain't going to help her.
Well, a lot of times, like, when me personally, I have an emotional problem, the only thing that I want to do is talk about it and have somebody say, it's going to be okay and I'm here for you, but you don't do that. You're like, why are you being such a fucking pussy?
Okay, so
That is exactly what you were going to say.
so we need to wrap this episode up, but I want to say something else about that because in my eyes, and I think that just in guys' eyes in general,
Guys without emotion.
I think that guys in general, girls just want someone there to, oh, it's okay, it'll be okay. But at least in the way that I see it, it's more along the lines of, okay, well, this is your problem and this is how to fix it. Not, I don't want somebody there like, oh, it'll be okay, Brandon.
Yeah.
It'll be all right.
Because you're
I would
not
rather.
genuine.
But you do realize when you're just telling somebody, oh, this is your problem and this is how you fix it, you're not helping them work through it. You're like,
Well, if they can't figure it out themselves.
But
it's
that's the
for
pro-
them
it's-
to figure out themselves so they can
You
fix
can't just
it.
give someone a solution.
That's why your therapist doesn't tell you what your problems are or what your solutions need to be because he tells you that you need to work through it yourself and you get pissed off because he tells you that.
It's pretty simple to have an issue with, let's say a toilet flap won't stay down.
Okay, but that's a
to go and
physical thing.
look it up to figure out how to fix it.
You can't fix
I don't want
fix emotional problems.
someone to tell me, hey, my toilet's broke. What?
It'll be all right.
And then they'll be like, it'll be all right, man.
Okay.
You'll get through
Right.
it.
You're comparing an emotional issue to a fucking toilet.
I think
Brian.
that's the same thing.
No, you can't fix a broken heart. You can't look up how to fix a broken heart. And here's how you do it. There you go, bud. Talk to you next week. Hope you're good to go.
Drugs. Bam, fix it right
Another
up.
physical issue.
You're throwing away an emotional issue and establishing a physical issue by doing that.
So therefore, just slapping a Band-Aid over it, you'll be okay.
Well, that's like when people
Don't worry about it. It's
that's
fine.
That's like when people drink, especially our age, to get rid of their problems.
Yeah.
You're gonna wake up in the morning with a hangover, and that's just gonna be one more problem you got to deal with because now you're hungover. It's not getting rid of any of your problems. Solutions, not Band-Aids, Brian.
Solution. So you
Solutions.
should tell the person
No.
how to
No,
fix it.
not solutions from an outside party. You have to be able to solve the problems for yourself so you have the closure.
That's exactly what it said
You
in my
need to.
psychology book.
You don't give them the solution. You give them the support to find the solution themselves.
you gotta give
Support,
her
not
support.
solutions.
Okay,
Don't
so-
tell her how to fix it. Be with her through her fixing it herself.
At the end, you
Okay,
just need to
but
listen.
me
Just
saying-
don't say anything. I think if you would just listen and not zone out because she knows when you're not listening, because I know when you're not listening. If you just listen to her and say, "Yeah, I understand what you're saying. I'm sorry you feel that way. We're going to get through it," and that would fix 90% of your problem with not being able to empathize. Even if you can't empathize,
Yeah, even if you
you
can't.
need to pretend like you are.
Okay,
That's
but
what I said. False.
how am I supposed to pretend that me saying it's okay is actually helping?
Because
Because
it
it's
is helping.
not.
It's not helping you, but it's going to help
she's
her.
telling you that it's going to help her.
Okay, but what do I do when you have a problem?
Does she tell you it's going to be okay?
And I tell her to shut up.
You were having like an anxiety attack, and I came home and I tried to help you the best that I could by comforting.
about?
like on Christmas when I was over there hunting with my dad, you said that taking the Adderall was giving you an anxiety attack.
Oh,
so
yeah.
I came home.
That was too much.
I brought you food.
How much did you take?
Yeah, you zonked. I brought you food and I did everything that I could to try to get you to feel better with things that I learned through having like the same problem. And I was there for you. I didn't tell you like
Stop being a pussy.
stop being a pussy. I was here for you through it.
So,
Well, you could have just been like, well, why don't you just go throw up? And I'd be like, okay.
but no, because you can say that now. You know damn well going through it. You'd have just told her to fuck off. You handled it yourself because she's
No,
not helping.
I probably would have went and thrown up. She would have said that.
No, because that's not what would have helped you. She did her best. Even if you're saying it didn't help, well, she did her best, and that means something because she tried.
Just knowing that somebody's there for you and that they are trying for your well-being and want you to be okay is more comforting than feeling like you're alone and, you don't have anybody to help you out.
But I think she's going from it as her point of view. And to your point of view, it doesn't matter if there's anybody there because it's not going to help you. And that's why it's so hard for you two to support each other emotionally because you have completely different viewpoints. I think it's important for both of you to try to understand each other.
Yep. And I think we need to wrap this episode up, and I think that was a pretty good one. What do we think, guys?
Therapist.
Good one? Good one? Come on.
Clap into the damn...
Come on! Brandon.
I clap.
All right.
Oh.
And we will see you guys in the next one.
Looking at the camera, it's done.
That one can't even see. And we'll see you guys in the next one.
I think most people listen to it on Spotify anyway.